Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I wanna talk about a comic called Crossed, hence the cross on my face. And yeah, we're going to talk on how would you survive a crossed infection apocalypse. So that is just something for shits and giggles, but can be a good exercise in what would you do in this of that situation. So I think I'm going to make a little series out of this from for media, movies, and games, perhaps. So yeah, don't take it too seriously. I can't show anything because of YouTube policies. Otherwise, they will take down my video. It happened to my movie reviews. So if you just want to listen or perhaps see a few items, be my guest. But before we start, if you're interested in survival courses in Belgium, there will be a link to my book called Bloody Crosses and to my survival courses, Survival Training België.be. So take a look if you want. All right. So, crossed. First, you got to understand what are the crossed. To understand, if you understand them, you know how you be able to use which survival techniques would fit best. The crossed are a type of infection that will turn people into murderous, cannibalistic, uh, psychopathic freaks. Actually, so the thing is, you can recognize them because they got like this a cross shape uh, rash on their face when they are infected, and the infection is just by transmission of bodily fluids. It can be blood, it can be uh, vomit, um, how do you say spit, can be sperm, can be vaginal fluid. So anything that comes out of the human body, it is a way to transmission. The transmission period can last from a few seconds to a few minutes, and in certain cases, an hour. So yeah, usually it's a few seconds if you get infected through a major bodily opening or blood. So that means if you get spit or blood in your eyes, in a wound, or in the mouth, in sometimes, but sometimes that will last longer before it gets inside of it. If it gets through a membrane, you will get infected in just a few seconds. So yeah. So the first thing. Oh yeah, and by the way, this if you're going to look up crossed comics, I got to warn you, this is one of the most fucked up comics ideas that I ever seen. It's they take really chances with it. It's full of cannibalism, rape, even a child rape, murder. So there is no there is no limit. So I warn you if you're going to look up about the crossed. So be aware of that. Even I had to take a few pauses after while reading this stuff. So yeah, I would say be very carefully if you are a little bit squeamish. So so the first thing we know is avoid every physical contact, and not only physical contact with the crossed themselves, because yeah, they can. It's not that only if they can touch you or spit on you or get blood on you, but they also tend to, in certain situations, they make so-called biobombs. What is biobomb? Is a term for anything they can put in a bag, whether it's plastic or a paper bag. They fill it with shit, sperm, blood, meat, whatever, and they throw it from a long distance during the besieged to their victims in hope to infect them, and they will start to get create chaos from their safe place. So that's one of the ways that you also need to avoid contact. Another thing is avoid anything that can be infected. So anything that a crust has touched is probably infected, and we have to think about anything, actually anything that doesn't look clean. If it's dirty, got blood on top of it, if it looks a little bit moist, yeah, it could be that a crust have touched it or did certain things with it, because they usually They usually put things in their cunts, in their mouths, in their vaginas, in their ass. So yeah, they can be it cannot be clean, and that way you could also get infected. Many survivors had been infected by contaminated food, weapons, doorknobs, that kind of stuff, vehicles, anything that has some bodily fluid from a crust on top of it is a big no-no to touch. So only touch something if you are sure that it's not been touched or tampered with. So yeah, in the chaotic situation of the crossed universe, that's something really uh, hard to do. So yeah, and even old how do you say this? Old crossed skulls that you find still have the rash, and that is also still infectious. So that's also something that you need to watch out for. So yeah, the first I would say if you're going to protect yourself against it, like I said, you need to avoid physical contact and possibly the chance that you will get bodily fluid on top of you. So I would advise to take glasses, safety glasses, medical glasses, glasses in general, so you don't get spit or blood in your eyes, because that is usually one of the fastest ways to get transmission beside blood. So always cover up if you're wounded. Cover it up with waterproof bandages or with clothing that can be a little bit how do you say it, water resistance, so that it will not drain inside of clothing that will take moisture up like cotton and spread out around to a place that you have a wound and infect you that way. That happens a lot too. Also, uh, a mask. Just wear a mask so you don't get anything in your side of your mouth that way, and in combination with the glasses, it will not only give you the the protection, but it will also give you the visibility, because if you wear a gas mask, you will sound loud. Yeah, you will sound loud. It will restrict you, and it will restrict your view. So that's why I say some protective goggles and um, some a mouth mask. That's the first thing. Second thing is your hands. You're going to touch a lot of things. There will be a lot of, because crust usually break everything they see. They touch everything they see. So your hands, even the smallest cut, even if you have just that little fiber that you take out start bleeding, that is an entrance that could be that you could get infected. So a box of latex gloves could be a lifesaver, because you don't always have the time or the resources to clean your gloves after touching. So that's something very dangerous if you wear just one of those mechanic gloves. So because first of all, they can take some moisture up, and if it's blood or something else and you got a wound, it can get through it and infect you that way. But it can prevent you from getting cuts onto your hands. So I would say if you're going to wear gloves, wear something around it that you can take off and replace it directly without contaminating it too much, because we all saw during the COVID that some people, even if they had protective gloves, they sometimes had to scratch their eyes or touch their mouth, and that's also a way you can. So you got also have to have the discipline to not get infected that way. But get more of these. Usually crossed are not safety orientated, so they will not take safety gloves like this. Um, Another thing to refrain from physical contact is weapons. And yeah, there are certain weapons you can use, and certain weapons, any weapon is actually good, but certain weapons you need to watch out for. I would say your main weapon would be something to keep the crust from you away. So I would say a spear or a sort of pitchfork to keep them at bay, so they cannot reach you, that they cannot touch you with their dirty hands in a orifice or a wound, because that's how usually people get infected. So something that you can strike them directly in a vital place, because spears are being used for warfare for since the beginning of humanity, and a pitchfork could also give that more penetration, that you can keep them on distance while your friend is finishing them off, because crossed, they like pain. They are thriving on pain. So even if you stab them and they are not directly hit in something that can stop them, then they will get through the spear and they will start to kiss or rape your face. And I do not talk about it in a figuratively way. They physically often do this. So a pitchfork or a spear could be something to keep them at bay, to minimize the risk of contact. Also can be used as a walking stick or to push something away that might be infected. For example, for long range weapons, I would either go for a crossbow. Little pun. So, because a crossbow is something that is very accurate, bolts are very thick, they have high stopping power, and they are easy to maintain. Depending what crossbow you have, of course, but it's something that you also can retrieve if you want, clean it, disinfect the arrows after using them, or make them yourself by something. And it's something that most people would overlook. They would choose a gun. So yeah, a crossbow could be a very good weapon, and it's also handy for hunting animals, because food will come to that, will be a major thing. If you're going to go for a gun, I would say get a very reliable gun that will not be prone to jamming, because yeah, of course, crossed usually when they hear a shot, they will every crossed in the area that will hear it. It's like a dinner bell. They will swarm to where they think they heard the sound. So yeah, an assault rifle with a suppressor, it's all good and fine, but most people will not have the access to assault rifles, nor the ammunition that is usually a little bit more difficult to find. So if you have in certain areas, certain weapons will be more optimized. So a rifle with usually 22 is something that you will find in Belgium a lot, and something with a bolt action or something, because that is more a little bit more reliable than automatic rifles that can be jammed or have, and if they can jam by mud or sand or dust or crossed intestines, by the way, happened in the Cross comics. So yeah, something reliable that you can take with enough stopping power to take someone down, or to take them down with a precision shot, with something that you will find a lot in the area. So that's for long range, I would say. For close range, I would say get something reliable like a revolver. Pistols, very good. A lot of ammo inside of them. But yeah, the crossed apocalypse lasts for decennia, even hundreds of years. So yeah, something reliable that will not need a lot of maintenance, is not less likely to prone to be jamming, is easy to clean and to maintain, and revolvers usually have a lot of stopping power. So a revolver in a bigger caliber will be the best one, and revolvers that are also easier to load. Yeah, many people will say, but a pistol, you got 20 rounds in one clip. Yeah, but after your 20 rounds are done, that's something that happened in the Cross universe. Many people, yeah, gone. Many people would be they have good weapons, but when they're out, they have no chance to. They have no time to reload the back. So a revolver is, bam, open it up, and you can put them in. And in needs, you can put one in, and bam. So you can do that with a revolver, but you can choose when they're too close. Same thing goes for something that can swing open. So yeah, I would prefer a revolver. If they are within even closer range, this is dangerous territory. So I would say pepper spray. Yeah, a crossed might enjoy pepper spray, but they will be blinded, and that will give you the chance to run away from them. So pepper spray, especially a little bit more powerful, or with more, the longer distance, the better it will be. And yeah, you can make yourself with improvised. I made a video about this. so you can hit something from 5 meters away, blind them, and get out before their cackling will draw in some other crust from around, because they will do that. So if you now you don't have any range, so the best thing I would advise then is either only do this when you have a mask or goggles. A kukri, it's not only good for hacking, but that will splash a lot of blood, so be sure that you are protected. But can also be used to chop wood to make some fire. We'll talk about that in a minute. And can also be used to bash in windows. And yeah, it gives you a little bit more reach, because crossed usually are armed with anything they can get their hands on, even if it's a shard of glass. The more distance you can reach, the more benefit it will have. Um, the last thing I would say is folding shovel. Yeah, you can hack with this. You can bash something in it. So there will be, especially with the bashing, you will have less chance that there will be splashing from some blood instead of the kukri. But you can also break their legs with a swing from far away with some distance in their knees, and while they're laying down, you can run away. So yeah, those are the weapons that I would prefer to use in that way. Uh, so the next thing I would do is leave populated areas, because crossed are usually drawn to where people are, and of course, cities, big towns, those are usually the places that are like an open buffet for crossed, because crossed, the only thing they want to do is rape, cannibalize, and torture people in the most gruesome ways that you can imagine. So yeah, if you are able to go into wooded areas, in areas where people you don't live and where it's hard to survive, because crossed, they do not care about getting about taking care of themselves. So if you are in areas where it's hard to find water sources or to gain water in a more in an easy way, the crossed will dehydrate and die off. If it's too hot or too cold, they will die of overheating or hypothermia. So that's another thing from a living civilization, so to say, that will minimize the chance that you will meet across. Um, Another thing perhaps is food. If it's food hard to find food for you, yeah, across they will eat people that they catch. So yeah, as long as they don't catch people, or they kill wild or domesticated animals, and they will just eat them raw, so to say. So that's another thing that can happen. But if you're in an area where you have to travel a long time and you don't find food, many crossed will starve to death. So that's another thing. And yeah, just leave the big cities if you can, and don't go to other populated areas that are safe zones, because the more people are together, the more chances that there will be noise, light, uh, sound, smell, smoke that will draw in. If one cross see you, they will make so much noise uh, that it will draw other crossed, and it will be like uh, a snowball effect where they all get to the same place to just wreak havoc. So that's something that happens, especially if these are organized cross, because sometimes crossed band together just for shits and giggles, uh, in some sort of belief. You got cross that perhaps were part of a Parisian, and they will all be like form a small cult-like Christian thing that they will torture people in that way. Order Cross will have something like where will all there's a mosquito here that is annoying me. That they will wear skins, and they will call themselves the skin wearers, and they will be hunting out for skin together in that fucked up way. So yeah, Cross can live in groups as long as they have a common goal of torturing a certain goal. So yeah, that's something that you need to watch out for. And yeah, I would say if you are on the travel, you have to watch out what you drink. So I would say if you're going to find water, use a metal box and boil all the water that you have. Boil it because it's the crust virus is so infectious that it can you have to boil everything and even heat up the metal so that nothing on the outside can of bacteria, virus, pathogen can live. So that's one important thing. No plastic bottles, perhaps copper bottles, even if there is some dirt on the outside. If it's a pathogen, it will be killed by the copper material in reaction. So yeah, a copper bottle, and this will give you enough water to safely drink, I would say. Don't use something like a water filter, because this kind of water filters usually don't filter out bacteria. They can filter out bacteria, but cross infection is more like a virus, I would say. Although it's not really clear in the comics or in the chapters that it is a virus. It's very unknown in that regard. But you have to clean everything. So perhaps some chlorine tablets um, or a bleach. Everything that you see, you put it in the water, let it rest. So, and its bleach can also be used to clean or disinfect your gear, your clothing, your body. So yeah, and chlorine tablets, you can make a lot of bleach with this, and it will last for a long time instead of liquid bleach. So that's another thing I would say. Uh, okay, right. Fire. You need to boil the water. So yeah, you can take one of those little camping stove with gas cartridges. But the problem in the universe of the Cross is, yeah, anything can be infected. It's hard to get, and usually you'll need something like to go into camping stores, which is in populated areas, which is very, very dangerous. So I would say I made a video about this. Yeah, I should have taken it out. This is a solo stove, so you can either use a solo stove, and this will be like a smokeless stove where you can put wood in it, and because it's reabsorb the smoke and burn it, there will be less smoke, so it will be less visible from far away. You can just gather some little pieces of wood, twigs, put them here, and you can boil water with it, which is very how to say this, you don't need a lot fuel to boil water with this, and it's small, it's easy to carry, and you can also use one of these um, cans soda cans that are cut in half with carton and molten wax inside of it. You can use that also. So yeah, but these will give a little bit of smoke, so that's something that you need to watch out for. So don't make yourself visible with light, smoke, and the smell of it. But it's better than having a camping stove that you need cartridges from around, because those will not be available for a long time. Perhaps some alcohol or gasoline stoves, but yeah, that's also hard to get. Uh, all right, light. I would say if you're going to travel with light, uh, yes, because the crusts are everywhere. It's at night. You will always need to. Yeah, some people in the cross universe say that you have to be travel at night because cross will see you not that well. But yeah, a lot of people stumbled upon a cross and they don't care that they will stumble about around something sharp. If they see you, if they think they are you just need to hold up and try to evade. So I would say get a light that can be used with a red light, so you will not be visible from a far away, or something that you can. Uh, this will give a lot of light, too much light. So something that you can dim to a very, very small area, so you will not be visible from far away. Because that's, and also something that can be recharged. This, for example, this can be recharged because you cannot charge anything in the universe of the cross. You cannot take solar panels with you because yeah, it takes time. You'll be visible. It's hard. It's very dangerous to stay in one place because crossed travel around in search of victims. So anything that you can recharge Another thing that you can perhaps do a little bit of covering. So with some paper or some cloth, you can minimize the light that you have. A radio is also very interesting. So yeah, such thing can be very handy. So I would say get something that you can dim to stay at a dark place or in the night or in a building to search, or something that you can look far away, a little bit far away, so you can use the gun to aim at what you see in the night, because Crossed never, if they know that you're somewhere, they will try to hunt you whether it's day or night. Next thing I would say is camouflage. Uh, Camouflage can be used in certain ways. So be aware that if you're going to camouflage yourself, try to wear something. If you're going outdoors, wear ghillie suit. Use the plants around you as camouflage. Try to darken your face with charcoal or something like soot, that you will your because a cross will recognize a face from far away. So that's another thing that you need to do. Your hands and your face must be blackened with soot or charcoal, so you will be less visible from far away, because that's usually the first thing that people will recognize, because humans are designed to recognize faces from even far away. That's why we see faces in clouds or on the moon. uh, we try to make sense of it. So another thing for camouflage in the cross universe is wearing a cross on your face. This is a very risky and dangerous thing, because it only in the whole cross universe, it only worked 2 times that they did it, and the other times the cross recognized them, and all people say it doesn't work. I saw it. It's tried many times. It never worked. And I think the big difference is many people to whom it failed, they just painted a red cross on their face. But that can be tricking the cross from far away, but usually from close up they will recognize it and they will attack you anyway. But the people to whom it worked is in one instance it was the hippie guy who used a cigar to burn a cross on top of his face, so it looked like a rash. It looked bloody like the real cross, and he was acting like a maniac because he was going to kill the cross that killed his friend. So yeah, that way it could perhaps work. And the other way was a group of survivors used blood to make a cross on their face. They wore body parts around them like cross would do, uh, as a sort of trophies, and they were acting a little bit crazy. And that's how they, from a distance, fooled them inside of the streets. But the big thing I would say is, oh yeah, another one was a poster with a group of children that they painted on their face. And even from far away, the pastor said to the children, act like you're crazy, and fuck, ah, and the cross still came up their way with the intention to rape and to kill them, torture them. So the thing is, the biggest factor is how you are acting. Uh, Whether it's burn on your face, whether it's blood, real blood on your face, the real thing that tricked the cross is act like a cross. The moment you show, and it is also not only for cross, but also for this is also for regular cross, so to say. The moment you show weakness, they will turn on you and they will kill and torture you. So yeah, act like them, have do crazy shit, have gather body parts and use them as trophies around your body like a real cross would do. So yeah, that's perhaps the way to trick a cross from a distance. And I'm talking about 10 meters away. From 10 meters away, they will recognize you and you're fucked. And sometimes, literally, sometimes with a pole. Yeah, I'm not kidding. All right. So, the next thing I would say is you're out of the populated area now. You are in the woods, and you use your survival training to survive. Build a shelter. The shelter should be hidden. So, like I said before, with the stove, make sure that you build a rocket stove or a Dakota pit to make a fire without smoke and fire to go high away, that you use less fuel. Have gear like something to chop wood and also to build a shelter, camouflage your shelter, and make it hard to find. Even if you are in your shelter, it must be even for you hard to find. Um, Next thing is don't trust others, even survivors. The moment you meet new survivors, uh, be very wary of them, and yeah, because that is the one of the main teams inside of the Cross universe. A lot of the survivors, they've seen the Cross do so much fucked up things to them, to their family, to their friends, to their neighbors, that they will start to go crazy, PTSD, get into a psychos, and they will either do something irrational, they will do something stupid, they will even perhaps become a crossed without being a crossed, and torture themselves because of some weird psychosis or something. Yeah, this is happening a lot in the Crossed universe, and yeah, other survivors might be fucked up in the head because of all the things that they've been through or saw the Cross do. So that's another thing you need to take in account. Or they might be they have some blood on them that get them infected later on, or they are just useless. That's also something that happens a lot because a lot of people, a lot of the more knowledgeable people with skills like firemen, army, they are usually the ones to fight the Crossed, and they usually die. So you got a lot of, in a way, the cowards, the weak people that were protected by the more brave and stronger people. Yeah, that can be a very dangerous thing to have in your group. So be careful with other survivors. Uh, Another thing I would say is if you're going to get food in the in the less populated areas, I would say gather as much food in within packages as you can, like white rice or something. Learn to forage for plants. Learn to fish, depending on in which, and be careful that because a lot of fish that have eaten pieces of meat that form crust that are fallen into the river, they can infect you. So that's something that you need to watch out for in this universe also. And this is also happening for wild game animals. Be sure that the animal has not been touched by a crossed, because yeah, that can be very dangerous. Uh, Books manuals will be invaluable because these are usually in the populated areas, and you need information books to rebuild things, maintain things, learn new skills, that kind of stuff, how to garden perhaps, and also just for fun because there will be no internet, no television, and you will be often restricted to a small area that is perhaps safe for you, and any book that you can have can take your mind off all the horror around you. Also for plant medicine, because pharmaceuticals will be plundered or they will be not reachable because of the crust. Like I said, camouflage, wear clothing that is not bright in color. So camouflage colors is the best. And also use, if you're going to take clothes with you, use wool, woolen sweaters, woolen socks, woolen underwear, woolen shirts, anything that is woolen jackets is the best because even if it gets wet, you will you will stay. It will insulate you for 80%. Even when it's very, how do you say that, durable. It's very cut resistance. In contrary to cotton clothing, for example, or some polyester. So that's another benefit. And you need to bathe less with it. It will smell less because wool only takes moisture out of your body and not the oils from your skin that will start to feed bacteria that will start to smell. So those are, woolen clothing is the best you can have. Um, Another thing I would say is now that you got your hidden shelter in the woods, you have a way to find food. Perhaps you can hunt animals, salt or smoke the meat for the winter time, forage plants, fish, that kind of stuff. You got perhaps a water source from rain, boiling water, or from a river. That's also very dangerous. So boil it first, or disinfect it with in a way that will kill pathogens. Now that you got all that, another thing you can do is wait it out till the crust are died out. But these are determined little bastards. So yeah, that is something that happens in the universe often with survival pockets in the wilderness. Crust will find you eventually, even if it's other survivors that will just accidentally stumble upon you. They can be followed over hundreds of kilometers from crust, because this is something that happens a lot when the people in the cities are died out, or there is nobody to torture anymore. Crust will go into in packs, and they will travel a long time in search of victims. So after a long time, you will not even be safe. Perhaps a tactic that you can use, and this has been used as a sort of defense tactic, is spread around your area where you live some things that could kill the cross. But something, if you have booby traps, yeah, that could kill the cross. Landmines also, but cross will know if this is here, there must be people around, and they will search even more. So be very, mm, make it look like other crust were here, and leave a trap that way. So it could be the first thing I would get to mind is leave poisoned food, poisoned drugs, poisoned alcohol, and poisoned sex toys around, because the moment crust find these, they cannot resist it. They will act on impulse, and they will shove anything that is mightily interesting inside of their mouth, in their asses, in their guns. So yeah, if you poison that shit, then you can kill a lot of them that way. So yeah, and it's less suspicious for the more smarter cross, because that's another danger in the cross universe. And these are the so-called smarties. There are only like, in the whole cross universe there were like six six seven smart cross, and these are the cross that can think far ahead. They have more impulse control, and that is why they can be more alert and be more suspicious of things to look for survivors to torture. So that's something dangerous if you catch if they will get onto your trail. So in the worst case scenario, and this happened to a few survivors, they got caught by this cross called Smokey, because he wear a fireman uniform and an axe. And this guy was this cross had the idea to be a conqueror. So these survivors said, if I help you catch other survivors, you will let me live. And this cross Smokey protected these survivors because they were useful for him in his quest to torture new survivors that were hidden. So it was like, in a way, a symbiotic relationship, that as long as they provide usefulness to this smart cross. So yeah, that's something that you also need to watch out for. Um, so yeah, I think I talked about the most things around here. Oh, one more thing I forgot to tell you. Uh, some working boots, or military boots that are heavy on the underside, because a lot of in the cross universe there will be a lot of glass, sharp pieces of metal traps that can be smeared in with crust, blood, poop, and the moment you step on them with regular shoes, they can penetrate your feet easily, and you get infected that way. So yeah, some heavy boots, and also when it's a metal heavy tip, if a cross gets too close, you can kick them right away, and they will be dazed for a moment, so you can run away. So yeah, some working boots can be a lifesaver in that situation. Uh, Another thing I would say is, be aware of your surrounding. The moment you go somewhere, and it is mostly for bridges, because for some reason crust often are positioned at bridges, because they know that survivors might get funneled in there, and they will wait them up in an ambush to catch them and to torture them. So some binoculars can be very handy also together with maps to know where you're going, where there are bridges, tunnels to avoid, where there are passable passes through mountain areas. So yeah, that you don't get funneled into ambushes and bottlenecks where crossed usually are, and to avoid big cities with the maps, of course. So yeah, uh, I think I'm almost through, and yeah, if you got any other survivor ideas, if you are a fan, yeah, not a fan is such a fucked up term in this context. I would say if you're more being intrigued by the comics of the Crossed, and soon there will be um, a Netflix series, I think, from the same makers of the boys that will make a Crossed series. So they will be less. I think they will be forced to be less controversial in that. So I would advise if you want to learn about the Crossed, it's very interesting, the storylines, and they take, like I said, they take a risk. It will surprise you. It surprised certainly me, and it can be interesting as a thought experiment to think, how would I survive in this universe? So yeah, um, I hope you found this interesting and entertaining. So, like I said, if you got any other tips, please let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and see you next video. Cheers.